Can your team respond to a data breach in 72 hours? Can it pull a complete user data report in 30 days? Prove every consent that you've ever collected? If you answered no to any of those, you have a GDPR problem. And we are here to help you solve it and show you the most common mistakes that companies make. Hello, and welcome to Mailtrap videos, where we explore the world of emails. Today, we are looking into automating GDPR compliance for FinTech. Your boss just asked you to make GDPR compliance automated. You know what GDPR is, sort of. But automated? Where do you even start? Okay, let's dive into automation. So why does GDPR matter specifically for FinTech? First, the stakes are massive. GDPR violations can cost you up to 20 million euros or 4% of your global revenue, whichever is higher. For context, Swedish fintech Klarna was fined $733,000 in March 2024 just for not providing sufficient information to users. And that's considered a small fine in GDPR terms. Second, fintech handles the most sensitive data imaginable: payment details, transaction histories, identity documents for KYC, financial forecasts. This isn't just personal data. This is data that could ruin someone's life if leaked. And third, manual compliance doesn't scale. When you're processing thousands of transactions daily, manually handling data subject access requests, consent management, and breach notifications, that's a recipe for disaster. You need automation, not just for efficiency, but for survival. But before we continue, if you pick up something new today, why not give this video a like? And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next one. GDPR automation breaks down into 4 core areas. Think of these as the 4 problems that you need to solve. Problem 1. Data subject access requests, or DSARs. This is when someone asks, "What data do you have on me?" You have 30 days to respond with a complete report. Pillar 2. Consent management tracking. Who consented to what, when they consented, and honoring opt-outs immediately. Problem 3. Data retention and deletion. Automatically deleting data that you no longer need, because keeping it longer than necessary is a GDPR violation. And Pillar 4. Breach notification. If there's a data breach, you have 72 hours to notify authorities and affected users. Each of these can be automated. Let's look at them one by one. Let's start with DSARs, probably the most common request you'll get. When the user says, "I want all my data," you need to pull information from your database, your email service provider, your payment processor, your analytics tools, your customer support platform, and then present it in a readable format. Manually? That takes hours or even days per request. Automated? Maybe minutes. Here's how DSAR automation actually works. Step 1. The user submits the request. They fill out a form on your website or send you an email. The system creates a ticket and starts the clock, so you've got 30 days. Step 2. Identity verification. Before you hand over data, you need to confirm that it's really them. Most tools send a verification email or require login credentials. Step 3. Data recovery. This is where the automation really saves you. The system queries every connected platform, your database, your email logs, your payment records, your support tickets, all at once via API. Step 4. Data compilation. Everything gets pulled into one report. Usually that's a PDF or CSV with sections for each data category: account info, transaction history, emails sent, support interactions. Step 5. Delivery. The user gets a secure download link. The system logs the entire process for compliance proof. Here's how the major tools handle this. OneTrust provides a self-service portal where users submit requests. It has pre-built integrations for 100+ platforms, and it can pull data automatically from most common tools. Transcend specializes in DSAR automations with 50+ pre-built connectors. The big win here? It maps your data flows automatically, so you're not doing it manually. Sprinto and Drata, both popular in FinTech, handle DSARs as part of their broader compliance platforms. Less specialized tools than Transcend, but good if you need SOC2 and ISO in one place. The key is integration. Your DSAR automation is only as good as your data mapping. You need to know where every piece of customer data lives: databases, backup servers, third-party tools, everything. Most tools start with automated data discovery to map your data flows. Then they connect APIs to pull information on demand. One thing to watch for is edge cases. What happens if data lives in a system that doesn't have an API? Or if an employee stored customer info in a personal spreadsheet? Please don't. Automation handles 90% of DSARs, but you still need a manual process for that remaining 10%. Next up, consent management. GDPR requires that consent must be freely given, specific, informed, and unambiguous. And you need proof that consent was indeed obtained. This means no pre-checked boxes, no "by using our service you agree" buried in terms. Every consent needs to be explicit and logged. Here's what automated consent management looks like. OneTrust is the industry standard for managing cookie banners, GDPR right to be forgotten requests, and user opt-ins across 300+ jurisdictions. It automatically generates compliant consent forms, it logs every interaction, and it syncs preferences across your entire tech stack. But consent isn't just about initial opt-ins. You also need to handle preference updates when the user changes their mind, right to erasure when users want their data deleted, opt-out automation when users unsubscribe, and a good consent management platform tracks the entire lifecycle and automatically propagates changes to every system that processes that user's data. An important thing to remember is that consent management automation isn't just about general data, it's also about emails. This is where most GDPR violations do happen, not because companies are malicious, but because email marketing moves fast and compliance gets overlooked. Here's what GDPR-compliant email marketing automation requires: explicit opt-in at sign-up, no pre-checked boxes, one-click unsubscribe in every email, preference centers where users control what they receive, and automated opt-out propagation across all systems instantly. This is where your email service provider becomes critical. Mailtrap handles GDPR email compliance with separate consent tracking for transactional versus marketing emails, automated unsubscribe management, detailed consent logs, and suppression lists that prevent accidental sends. Here's the critical part. Marketing emails and transactional emails need separate consent. Payment confirmations don't require opt-in, they're necessary for the service. But even transactional emails must comply with GDPR's data protection requirements like encryption, retention policies, and the right to be forgotten. Marketing newsletters, those need explicit consent. What's the most common mistake, you ask? Consent stored in your CRM doesn't sync to your email platform in real time. Someone unsubscribes, the CRM updates 24 hours later, they get one more email. That's a GDPR violation. Automation fixes this by ensuring opt-outs propagate instantly across all systems. What about data retention? One of the most overlooked areas of GDPR compliance, by the way. GDPR's principle of data minimization means that you can't keep data forever. You need a clear retention policy. Transaction records, 7 years, for tax purposes. Marketing emails, until consent is withdrawn. Support tickets, 3 years after closure. Login logs, 90 days. And here's the catch. These policies need to be enforced automatically. Here's how automation tools handle this. Sprinto and Drata both offer automated data retention policies with scheduled deletion workflows. You set the rules once. Delete login logs older than 90 days, and the system handles it automatically. What's important to note is that these are illustrative examples. They're not legally mandated timeframes. Your actual retention periods depend on your jurisdiction, sector-specific regulations, and your own data processing purposes. Always verify with a legal advisor. This is critical for FinTech because your transactional emails, payment confirmations, one-time passwords, know your customer requests, they often contain sensitive personal data. By the way, we will also cover email-specific data protection in depth, so stay tuned to dive deeper into securing your email infrastructure. The key with data retention automation is integration with your existing systems. Look for platforms that can connect to your database via API, monitor data age automatically, execute deletion workflows on schedule, and generate audit logs for compliance proof. Now the scenario that no one wants: a data breach. The clock is ticking. GDPR gives you 72 hours to notify the relevant supervisory authority. If you're handling this manually, discovering the breach, assessing the impact, drafting notifications, identifying affected users, you'll blow that deadline. Automated breach detection and notification works like this. Step 1. Detection. Security monitoring tools like AWS Guard Duty or SIEM platforms detect unusual activity like unauthorized access, data exfiltration, and so on. Step 2. Assessment. The system automatically assesses scope. What data was accessed? How many users were affected? What's the risk level? And step 3. Notification. Pre-approved notification templates are automatically populated with breach details and sent to your internal security team, the relevant data protection authority, and affected users if the risk is high enough. The key is preparation. You need incident response playbooks configured in advance, so when, not if, a breach happens, the system knows exactly what to do. So which tools should you actually use? Let me break down the landscape. For all-in-one GDPR compliance, OneTrust, the enterprise standard, great for small and enterprise size. It handles consent management, DSARs, breach notification, vendor risk. It's best for larger fintechs with complex feeds. Sprinto, AI-native platform with autonomous automation. It's excellent for fast-growing fintechs that need SOC 2, ISO 27001, and GDPR all in one place. Drata, similar to Sprinto, but focused on continuous compliance monitoring. Great for SaaS and fintech companies. For specialized needs, Transcend. It's best for DSAR automation specifically. It has pre-built integrations with over 50 platforms. But before we wrap up, let's talk about the biggest mistakes that I see fintechs make. Mistake number 1. Treating GDPR as a one-time project. GDPR isn't something you complete. It's ongoing. You need continuous monitoring, not an annual audit. Mistake number 2. Ignoring cross-border data transfers. If you're sending data between the EU and the US, you need proper safeguards. Make sure your tools do the same. Mistake number 3. Not documenting everything. GDPR compliance is about proving you're compliant, not just about being compliant. Everything needs a clear audit trail. Mistake number 4. Choosing tools that don't integrate. Your GDPR automation is only as good as your integration. If your consent management platform can't talk to your email service provider, you're back to doing manual work. Mistake number 5. Forgetting about employee training. Regular training ensures that everyone knows how to handle personal data properly. Mistake number 6. Assuming GDPR only applies to your own data. If you're using third-party processors like payment APIs, analytics tools, email providers, you're still responsible for how they handle your users' data. So, let's recap. GDPR compliance automation for fintech breaks down into 4 pillars. DSARs automate data retrieval and reporting, consent management, track and enforce preferences automatically, data retention and deletion, where you enforce policies on schedule, and breach notification, where you detect and respond within 72 hours. Choose tools based on your size. Small fintechs, consent platforms and email compliance. Midsize, full GRC platforms like Sprinto or Drata. Enterprise, OneTrust, and dedicated privacy teams. Remember, GDPR isn't about limiting your business. It's about building trust with your customers by showing them you take their data seriously. And one last thing. Remember, this video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute any legal advice. For advice specific to your situation, please consult a qualified data protection officer or legal counsel. Let us know how much you enjoyed this video by liking it. And if you want to dive deeper into email-specific automations, don't miss our video on email automation flows for FinTech. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.